Hi.
Good evening, everyone. This is Bijoy Chere on behalf of the South Asian Christian Youth Network, welcoming you to this seminar, this workshop, this webinar that we will be doing on the Afghanistan experience. I'm not going to take time explaining that. We have Jian, the moderator, who will do that for you. Let me just quickly take you all through what SACYN is and what we do. We're a network of Christian youth leaders from South Asia that was established in the year 2002. The countries engaged are Bhutan, Bangladesh, India, Myanmar, Nepal, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, and India. SACYN is all about inspiring, preparing, and strengthening young Christian leaders to actually find bridges where they can experience the South Asian experience together, in spite of the fact that we live in areas where we are a minority community. Our languages, our cultures, our ethnicities, and nationalities often tend to come in the way or tend to define how our experience of Christianity is. What does SACYN do? SACYN organizes annual events. We organize conferences, large meetings, leaderships, and core group trainings. So far, we have done 4 modular leadership trainings, 11 core group meetings, and 3 large conferences in our almost 20-year history. You can find more details about us on our website, www.sacyn.net. I'm trying to speed through all of this so that we have more time to listen to the people who are our special guests at the webinar today. So, Jian, over to you. Thank you, everyone, for coming in, and I request all of you all to stay on mute. We may have some technical issues because people are logging in from all kinds of places. So please bear with us on this. Thank you so much, Jian. Over to you.
Thank you, Bijoy, for the kind introduction about the SACYN, and it's a pleasure to moderate this session. Welcome once again to the South Asian Christian Youth Network. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I hope everyone is doing well in this pandemic, and I pray that we could overcome this trouble, and believe and looking forward to have a physical program soon. Greetings once again from the South Asian Christian Youth Network. I've been moderating. This is a webinar especially focused on the issue of peace and security in South Asia. In fact, under this topic, we have had the second and the 2 webinars before under this topic, and this is the 3rd webinar under this series. This time we are focusing on the understanding Afghanistan, the arena of conflicts. I'm sure and I believe that everyone knows about the context and what is going on in Afghanistan, and we have heard for the past many months about the invasion of Taliban and the situation, and unfortunately the downfall of the Afghanistan as a nation. So we are trying to explore the situation and the experiences that has been going on, impacting on the people of Afghan. I will just brief about the background for today's webinar. So after the US and the Allied forces withdrawn their military forces from Afghanistan, and now that the fall of Panjshir, the country is left under the complete control of the Taliban that has reformed a hardline interim government and restored the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan exactly on the eve of the 20th anniversary of America's invasion of the country. So with the overtake of the Taliban, the development of the Afghanistan, that is socio-political, economic, religious condition for over the past 20 years has been undone and brought back to square one. So the conflicts and the violence in Afghanistan does not acclaim to the uprising of Taliban alone, but the invasion of Soviet in the 70s and the US lately, but also to various factors of conflicts and differences within the diverse Afghan society. The inter-ethnic conflicts, Operation of minorities, religious and ethnic groups, political instability, religious extremism and intolerance conceivably gives room to the full-blown conflicts and violence in Afghanistan that we see today. So in addition to the Taliban's offensive, Afghanistan faces a threat that the presence of various insurgent groups such as Al-Qaeda, now the Islamic State Khorasan or ISIS-K, the Sunni Islamist Haqqani network that has been expanded its presence in several eastern provinces, give rise to the questions of restoration of peace and stability in the country in any time soon. However, considering the differences of various religious military groups, religious extremism and bigotry seem to be the overarching root cause of violence and conflict in Afghanistan that has infested with human rights violence, ethnic cleansing, suicide attacks, and many more mayhem for the past many years in Afghanistan. Currently, Taliban religious fanatics having the ultimate authority over the Afghans religious, political, that includes the legislative, executive, and judiciary in its form, and military affairs, pursuing the Sharia governance. The odds of humanity are dim among its citizens, particularly the women and young people in Afghanistan. The situation in Afghanistan has a direct impact upon the neighboring South Asian countries as a threat both internally and externally, of which many of the countries share the border with Afghanistan. The rapid mushrooming of the ideology of religious fundamentalism, majoritarianism, religious intolerance, backed by political agencies, mostly accompanied with violence, is seen in other South Asian countries as well, to the very country which we live in. This leads to the fear of another Talibanism, which is an ideology that which Taliban movement has covered up, and an urgency to address and voice against such bigotries in the context of South Asian, especially among youth. So this is the brief backdrop which we are organizing this webinar today. And to address this issue, we have a fantastic resource persons. We have 3 resource persons from different walks of life. We have Phil Simpson, we have Dr. Khanal, and we have Nadia. They are from different countries, which he has a passion for peace, minority rights, and he's also an interest in the religious movement and religious intolerance, and he's also currently writing on the religious intolerance in South Asian perspective. We also have Phil Simpson, a former CMS UK Asia director, worked in Pakistan for many years in de-addiction. Now he continues in various consultancy roles, close association with SACYN and its project. We also have Nadia. She is a journalist, a writer and researcher from Pakistan, which she previously associated with news channels like Capital TV and GTV News. Also served as a visiting faculty member of universities and taught undergraduate classes, and has appeared her articles in many newspapers. So thank you so much once again, and these are our resource persons for today. Moving forward, I would like to first put the questions to our resource person, Phil Simpson, Reverend Phil Simpson. Phil, I would like to draw your kind of presentation, which I would like to ask you to take us through the complexity and diversity of the society in Afghanistan, being you have experience over there, and which the Afghan society has frequently supplemented with the conflict and violence. So you may kindly share the perspective of how it is in Afghanistan.
Good, thank you. I'm going to put my Afghan hat on and I'm going to share my screen, if that's all right. And it's good to be with you all. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, yes, you are.
Good. So I thought the easiest thing to do would be to put a few thoughts onto a PowerPoint. I can hear an echo. Maybe some people need to mute. This picture is taken outside of Kabul airport many years ago. And that's Ahmad Shah Massoud, the great hero of Afghanistan, that your way moved forward. And Afghanistan does move forward in its own way. This is a map made out on a carpet of Afghanistan with the surrounding countries. It's a very significant place in the borderlands of Asia. I wanted to share this poem. I'm not going to read it in Urdu. I'm going to read it in English, but it's by Muhammad Iqbal, Allama Muhammad Iqbal, the national poet of Pakistan. And let me go back. He called Afghanistan the heart of Asia. Asia is a body of water and clay, of which the Afghan nation forms the heart. The whole of Asia is corrupt if the heart is corrupt. Its decline is the decline of Asia. Its rise is the rise of Asia. The body is free only as long as the heart is free. The heart dies with hatred, but lives with faith. A fascinating insight into Afghanistan as in a key political part of the world. It's a beautiful country, starkly beautiful. It got into me in a very deep way. I must have traveled over 20 times to Afghanistan whilst I was working for CMS. And I did get influenced by the culture and particularly Mullah Nasruddin. He was asked why he rides his donkey backwards. And he said, I'm more interested in where I'm coming from than where I'm going, my friends. So I thought as we talk about Afghanistan, I should look back in order to look forward. And particularly, Afghanistan has been called the graveyard of empires. When people talk about Afghanistan, they tend to start with the Russian invasion or the American occupation or liberation, depending on your perspective. But I want to go back a little bit further to the British. I am British. I have to own up to being British. Can you see the top line of this, or is it been obscured by my video? Oh, it doesn't matter. But anyway, the first Afghan war was in the 1840s, and a force of some 12,000 or more were massacred on the retreat from Kabul. And this is a famous painting that sort of most British schoolboys would have seen about the lone survivor. He wasn't the lone survivor. A number of people survived and made it through. And there was a punitive expedition by the British afterwards in the 1840s. And obviously, the whole of the Indian subcontinent is tied up in that the troops were from that area. So many of them. The second Afghan war was in the 70s, 80s. There's this lovely cartoon of Save Me From My Friends, Amir Shah Ali being surrounded by the Russian bear and the British lion. And Afghanistan was where the great game was played out. People have interfered in Afghanistan for centuries. And in the peace in 1880, that lasted for nearly 40 years. And then there was another conflict with more modern warfare and weaponry. And we have a Sopwith Camel that bombed Kabul. But Amanullah Khan actually brought in, at the end of that war, he brought in a great reforming movement, very unpredicted at the time. I'm going through all that just to show that as nations, we are implicit in this. We're not free. The Indian army celebrates Kesari and the Battle of Saragathi, when 21 Sikh soldiers held off to the last stand, something like 10,000 Pashtun tribesmen. I watched the movie the other day, very powerful, probably totally untrue, not totally untrue, but loosely based on historical events. But what I'm saying this because we have all got history. We've been involved in Afghanistan. Our governments have interfered in different ways. But more recently, I want to just mention some of the things that have happened. I'll go through this quickly. The people of Afghanistan are suffering, but not new. They've been suffering for, well, I would say over 50 years, really. The military overthrow of the king in 73, the communist state, 75 to 77, the coup in 78, the Mujahideen resistance in 78, the Soviet-Russian invasion and jihadi resistance, 79 to 89. And that's when I started to get involved actually in the 90s. The untold death, over 5 million Afghan refugees, many in Pakistan, IDPs, refugee camps, civil war, warlords, lawlessness, the list goes on. And then a rise in 1994, the rule, 96 to 2001, and fall of Al-Qaeda-linked Taliban. The post 9/11 US or foreign military intervention, the unstable elected government and violent insurgency. And we come to the present, Taliban 2.0. What's that going to look like? And the collapse. I want to leave you with an analogy, a parable of Buzkashi. Buzkashi is probably the most violent game on the planet. It's fought or played, I said fought, it's played on horseback. It's a sort of rugby on horseback. And these horses with their riders have people dashing around. It was a study by Whitney Azoy on Buzkashi, the game of power in Afghanistan. I found it very gripping and helpful as a way into understanding Afghanistan. And the buz is the goat. It's been soaked in water for 4 days, or a calf. And kashidan is to pull, so it's pulling the goat. They pick up the goat and dash around with other men on horseback trying to pursue them to drop it into a scoring circle. I couldn't work it out. Most Westerners can't work. In fact, most people can't work it out if they don't know the game already. But as a metaphor, I just want to leave you with this quote. Buzkashi does have rules, not least of which there are 2 teams of roughly equal size, whose players are all invited to participate. After 10 years, and this was written in 1989, so some time ago, after 10 years in which Afghanistan itself has become the headless goat, torn and ripped apart by contending foreign powers, it is time for the Afghans to be left to play out their own power struggle and their own national destiny according to their own rules. I find that very sobering. As a Westerner whose government has interfered, has maybe with best of motives sought to help the people of Afghanistan, I'm left with many questions about whether we have helped in many ways at all. I love this picture of Afghanistan. I'll leave it with you as the end. These 3 men who have so much hope. The green tea is hospitality. The gun standing there is the hostility. Both things coexist in Afghanistan. So I wanted to just give you a little background, a little bit of an insight from a Westerner who's traveled in and visited, but that's it enough from me for the moment.
Thank you so much, Stu, for the apt introduction and pictorial depiction and background of the Afghan nature and conflict that draws a very much attention from the various government and various empire as well. Thank you so much for taking us through the backdrops of the diversity in the nature of Afghan society. Now we have a small 5.5 minutes of audio-visual clip from an Afghan person, first-hand person, a person who has gone experience during these recent the problems, like the mass movement of Afghan outside of Afghanistan, and the experience that they have shared. And because in order to protect the identity. It is an anonymous clip which have been received, and we'll be playing it for you now.
Well, I'm really much concerned about my security, and due to these security aspects, I'm also very much concerned about my family. As we see in the future in the army public school, what the Taliban's did, they killed small innocent children in the school, so they can do anything that they want to do. So I am very much concerned about my future, about my kids, and about their future as well. For your first question, as you said or you asked, what does the Taliban victory in Afghanistan mean for you as an individual and as a Christian? The Christian bit depends on identity of the person being asked the question. Well, being as a Christian, being as a part of the tribal area which are directly impacted from Afghanistan, I see this is not the victory of Taliban, but this is the victory of terrorist groups as they are not bound to their words. And now I see that the bad future is going to come, and with the bad impacts on the people of Afghanistan, because Taliban's are cruel, and we see the history. They always want to make their writ, and for this purpose, they slaughter the people, they kill them, they brutally beat them in the markets, and whatever, whenever they want to kill someone, they can do. Like there is no rules and regulations. So personally, being as a Christian, being as an individual, I see that this is not the victory of Taliban, but this is the uh, defeat of humanity, and it's the victory of terrorists. Well, I think the rest of Asia or rest of the world or international communities, even United States, Canada, and European Union, they can play a very important role while uplifting the marginalized communities in Afghanistan and rest of the areas which are nearby the Afghanistan, because as I early respond you, that will be a very direct but negative impact on such areas and the people and their surroundings. So, first of all, uh, they need to get rid from this area. Currently, uh, like as I'm connected with the people that they are living in Afghanistan, I visited the borders, especially the Torkham, and people are just very much concerned and want to flee from Afghanistan as soon as possible because they are in a big danger. So I suggest that communities and the NGOs and the civil societies, institutions, they should play important role while uplifting the marginalized communities and also highlighting the basic issues. Well, while responding your second question, assure you that there are big challenges, there are big changes in the livelihood, livelihood of the people of Afghanistan, because the Taliban's are always trying to impose and trying to, uh, you know, trying to, what do you call that? They always want to do whatever they like. So, like if they will proclaim the law of Sharia or Islamic law, as according to the Islamic law, the girls will not be allowed to go to the market or to get education or to work in the offices as they were working in the time of America. So now the people in 20 years, a complete generation, it's changed. The people that they were 1 or 2 years when America came there, now they are 22 or 23. So they grown up in a society, in an environment which they are not able to accept right now, because in the culture which we develop amongst that will be not acceptable for the modern Afghans. Well, many people that they were working with the previous government, when they were working with the local government of Afghanistan or with the NATO forces, they are badly, uh, you know, going through a very harsh experiences. Most of them have been settled down in different countries, and the people that they are lying in Afghanistan, they don't want to live there. As we see the people how they were hanging with the aeroplane, and they just get down to the earth and they were died. The basic reason was just they want to flee from this region as they know the future.
That is the audio clip that we have received from one of our friends from Afghanistan about the situation that is going through and faced by the Afghan at the moment, and the fear of the future. Moving ahead, friends, we have a few questions for our resource person. I would like to address this to Nadia and Phil together. That thus the rise of Taliban and the other terrorist groups in Afghanistan, is it a response to the invasion of the West, or a movement of a religious intolerance, or is there any kind of another factor, understanding to which the conflict in Afghanistan, both internally and externally, has led to the collapse of the nation? So if I may ask Nadia and Phil to share your response into this.
The invasion of terrorists, like you are saying, like Lashkar-e-Jhanvi and some other organizations in Pakistan that are working in Afghanistan, and TTP Afghanistan and TTP Pakistan. Whatever people are saying about these are not the invasion of. To some extent, they are the invasion of West, because West propaganda, what they are going to do against Pakistan, because Pakistan usually on international media platform, what picture has been portrayed about Pakistan, that Pakistan is not a safe country for minorities, and there is too much religious extremism creating over here in different sects. But what I found over being a minority participant and belong to the minority community of Pakistan, I found this country the most safest country, as minorities are participating on the equal level in all military institutions of Pakistan, in the civil services of Pakistan, and on the other private sector. They are in politics also. So what about the terrorist group? Terrorist groups again, now in this hybrid war time, terrorist groups are existing in all parts of the world, in Syria, US, and different parts. So we can't specify this thing to just one place, to Pakistan or Afghanistan, because now these things are existing in every corner of the world. And if we just specifically we talk about Taliban, so I would like to add on this thing that during these 20 years of American operation in Afghanistan, Taliban has also learned few things. Have changed their strategies regarding to the fight. They are also going their mindset, like they are allowing the women to take education, to go for education in schools, colleges, universities. So things are going towards a change. So we can't specify it that Taliban's and guns are one place. And though it is affecting Pakistan, because Pakistan is the neighboring country of Afghanistan, and the peace of Pakistan is linked with the peace in Afghanistan and in the Russia.
Thank you, Nadia. If I may ask Phil to put in your thoughts about it.
Yeah, I think it's worth remembering that the Taliban came in initially backed by the US and Pakistan and other other nations, and they were backed militarily, and they were seen as a reforming movement. Those men in white with the proper beards, they were seen an Islamic reforming movement. But the experience of the Taliban in the 90s was a really traumatic experience for people in Afghanistan. There was, I mean, there's a cultural element of the Pashtuns, most of the Taliban were Pashtun, imposing a cultural interpretation, a medieval cultural interpretation of Islam on the rest of the country. And those horrible stories of floggings and summary execution. So they developed an incredibly bad press. I think there has been some shift during this period of, I don't know what to call it, American occupation, liberation, I don't know what it is, but it's the past 20 years or so. There has been, I think they've been working on their PR, but we don't know what Taliban 2.0 is going to be like. There's some hints that it's not going to be, much different. And I think the big problem is their extremism and their interpretation begets extremism. There's an influence on the whole of the region. Sorry, Nadia.
Things are interconnected. Always when one thing has been disturbed from the one side, then change do continue and disturb many other things, and negativity promotes always. But if we can't specify thing that Mujahideens or Taliban has been given birth in Pakistan, because Talibans are not just specified or particular to one community, Pashtuns or Muslim. There are many communities which are included in Taliban. There were many people who, a few of them belong to Afghanistan, Tajikistan, Syria. There are many people. So we can't just target Pakistan for being the birthplace of terrorism, because Pakistan itself suffered a lot during these 20 years. Our 70,000 of soldiers have sacrificed their lives. Many civilians have sacrificed their lives. We have suffered a lot, and on many places, at many ends, our educational institutions had been targeted, religious places had been targeted, public places had been targeted. So we can't say that Pakistan is promoting terrorism or Taliban, because Pakistan also fight against that terrorism. Our tribal areas, they were not safe. Our military organization, our Pakistan Army, sacrificed a lot for that. Pakistan Air Force sacrificed a lot for them. Still, if we, even a single soldier in Pakistan, he's always ready to fight. He will never go back.
Good.
So these things are not just limited to Afghanistan or Pakistan, because when Russia and NATO forces entered into the Afghanistan, it was America who used Osama bin Laden against Russia and NATO forces to help him out, to throw the Russian forces out of Afghanistan. The situation changed against Osama bin Laden also during Iraq and Iran war in the early 90s. So Western propaganda and Western incentives are also always there to use the countries and to use such communities against such things. And what media is portraying nowadays about Afghanistan situation, and they are saying that in future women are not going to have some specific place over there, and since it will be going to ruin their lives, they will going to face a tough time over there. So this is not too much that media is portraying. To some extent, though, it may be, but not on every front, because Taliban have also changed their strategies and their ways how they have to look after the Afghanistan. Because the first of all, the problem they are facing right now, their economy, medical problems, which they will face in here some months, few days.
Thank you, Nadia and Piyush, for the input, which the religious the intolerance and this Taliban has played a key role into this what is happening at the moment now. While talking about the religious fundamentalisms or the militarizations, I would like to put a question to Dr. Kanal that is it fitting to see Taliban not as a terrorist military group, but as an ideology mixed with religious fundamentalisms and militarization of faith that violates human rights? If it is so, is it a failure of religious understanding that could relate to any religion per se, not only into Islam, but to any religion which religious fundamentalism and militarism is a very dangerous thing to put together? Yeah, over to you, Dr. Khanna.
Thank you for the question. What I understand from this incident and the long history of conflict in Afghanistan, in the leadership of Taliban and Islamic ideology there, and it really went to being supported by the terrorist movement. It seems like the religious movement at first, but indeed it is fully colored with the political interest. So my understanding, if you agree or not, the bad or dark side of the politics is corruption. And the darkest or dirtiest face of politics will go with the extremism, and that is colored by the religion. When they say that they are the religious movement, but their intention is to do something in political arena, that is the dirtiest, that is the deadliest and terrorist face of that movement. So what we see in Afghanistan and some other countries is the same. They are all blanketed by the religious ideology, but they are working for the political interest. Same thing we see here, even in Nepal and in India, in the name of BJP or RPPN here and other political parties, those who are backing their idea with the religious and cultural nationalism. That is what we see there. And my fair understanding in the Taliban movement is that they are all working for the political gain, but using the religious ideology. So, and when we see this part, and as I said, this is the darkest, this is the deadliest and dirtiest means into politics arena. So my understanding is they used religion to gain in the politics. So if that is being used in other countries as well, and that would be the same, that will be always bringing the bad fruits.
Thank you, Dr. Khanna, for input into relation which religious fundamentalism and militarism plays not only into particular religion, but the whole religion as well. The danger that we are facing, particularly in South Asia, as religiously, culturally attached countries. Thank you so much, Dr. Khanna, for the input. Moving ahead, I would like to continue this, put this question to both Dr. Khanna, Phil, and Nadia as well. That talking about the religious diversity in South Asia. South Asia is one of the birthplace of 4 of the world's religion, that is Hinduism, Buddhism, Sikhism, and Jainism. It is strongly intertwined with religion and culture, with multi-religiosity practices across South Asia. So with the rise of religious fundamentalism, as discussed earlier, and intolerance mushrooming in South Asia as a whole, there is a fear of Talibanism, not only into particular religion, but to any of the religion that practices in South Asia, that could lead to another Afghanistan-like situation. So if it is so, then how severe, considering the complexity of the South Asian countries, how severe could the impact in these South Asian countries? So over to you, Dr. Kanal, and then Nadia, you may start here.
Here I would like to point that
Go ahead.
Pakistan is facing fighting at three ends. One from the Indian side, one from the Afghanistan side, and one from the other external powers that are trying to invade Pakistan, who are trying to involve in the internal matters of Pakistan by sending their spies, because India is not happy with the Dhamir Bhasha Dam that Pakistan is making, and the CPAC project. India is always after the CPAC project and trying to spoil it and trying to make it loss for Pakistan, because by the CPAC project, Pakistan will be going to economically more strong. It will be going to make more strengthen Pakistan. It will be going to create more opportunities of the employment and trade routes for Pakistan. If we talk about the Balochistan, India is trying to invade Pakistan from that side, and the Amir Bhasha Dam. The Amir Bhasha Dam, Pakistan is trying to keep peace between both countries, between India, Pakistan, between Pakistan and Afghanistan. But what India is doing false flag operations against Pakistan. India is doing anti-state activities in Pakistan. India is making false propaganda against Pakistan. You can see last week, a few days back, Panjshir. Indian media has shown the videos that Pakistani F-16 and 17 planes are flying on the place of Panjshir, and lately international media denied that it was of the game. So it has internationally proved that India is after Pakistan and trying to destroy the peace of Pakistan, destroying to peace of Afghanistan, destroying the peace of the South Asian country. India, for last since 2019, India is ruining the people of Kashmir by Article 370. People are not allowed to use internet over there. People are not have an access of the telephones over there. People have no access of the any type of communication over there. Few days back, when the Hurriyat Rahnama Syed Ali Shah Gilani passed away, what Indian military forces had done over there with the Muslim and with the people and with the family of Hurriyat Rahnama, it is very clear on the international platform, on the international media. Even India is targeting Pakistan on religious extremism side, and that they are saying that it is not the safest country for the Pakistan, is not the safest country for the minorities. But what India is doing with the Kisan community, how the farmers are fighting for their rights since last many months in India. Nobody is highlighting them. Nobody is talking about what the
Yeah, Nadia, if I may cut across, in fact, the question was like, it is not about the political relation between India or Pakistan, Afghanistan, or any other particular countries, but the question which was India, not only India, but the whole South Asia has a very complex of different religious identity, right? Yeah. So in Afghanistan,
these are the SAR countries. These are SAR countries in India, Nepal, Bhutan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Maldives. So if what I want to say that if what peace would be spoiled at one or two countries, it will affect whole region, whole South Asian countries.
Yes.
Not just India or Pakistan, it will impact Maldives, it will impact Bhutan, it will impact Myanmar, it will impact Sri Lanka, it will spoil peace of every place.
Hi, Jian.
Yes, that is better.
Hi, this is Bijoy here. Jian, thanks. Just give me a second here. See, this is a platform where we are trying to talk about Afghanistan and what it means for the region. Let us not take this as an opportunity to talk about specific between countries, because it will only lead to angst from all kinds of participants. Our question is, and our concerns are about Afghanistan and the broader issues that it will affect for South Asia. And this is South Asian Christian Youth Network, which we are trying to address. Nadia, I get your points on the broader sense, but I feel the need to step in here because we have to keep our focus on the broader issue of Afghanistan here
Afghanistan
and the
is
spillover effect across the region without getting into, if we do not have a panelist from India, then somebody will come in from the Q&A side. My only point here is, let's try and keep it at a level where there can be a conversation without anybody getting offended at the
Afghanistan
conversation.
can only progress if the world state communities and world organization will accept the Taliban government, because both sides have to play equal roles. Talibans have all need to be neutral. They need not to be extremist. They need not to be impose things on the people. They have to keep the things balanced. And international community also have to give the chance to the government of Afghanistan, at least for some time, to make them prove what they are claiming, that we will bring peace in the region, we will make Afghanistan towards the path of progress. They need to give them a chance.
Yes, thank you, Nadia, for the idea. We understand your point, which Taliban also trying to bring the kind of a balance between their ideology and the society, particularly for the development of the region. Likewise, I'm not trying to, the question is not trying to pinpoint on Taliban, but the whole South Asian has got a religious fundamentalism ideology at hand. For example, in India, we have the Hindu ideology, which role in it, and other neighboring countries like Myanmar has, for example, has a very main right-wing ideology on Buddhism and the imposition of ideology as well. So considering this different religious fundamentalism coming into a play in a political role, the question was to how severe it is going to impact the whole region as if it is going to take up as a government. So that is the idea that we want to put in. So I want to ask if I may put Dr. Khanna, yeah, then Phil, I support we can follow up.
I was just looking at the moment when it happened in Pakistan. One thing is quite common in South Asia. We used to say if rains in India, people here in Nepal, they will get ready with umbrella. That is what is going here. And when it rained in Afghanistan, people started preparing their umbrella over here in Nepal, in Kathmandu. People with the movement, they really want to restore the kingdom, monarchy. And they started talking about the power play if the nationalist with cultural and religious ideology can come together and fight against this secularism and this people's federal democracy. They can win. That was the commotion over there. And they have started this movement, and we already saw how many people were gathered in the street. So this is, I think, from my observation, it is quite common in the countries in South Asia. Even in India, there are people, they are being discouraged or encouraged to do something, or not to do something, or withdraw from the movement, what they are doing. So we are all interconnected with the movements, whatever it is, good or bad, in neighboring countries. And this will do something within the country. So what I mean is when Afghanistan, the Taliban were succeeding, people here in Nepal, for them, this is the defeat of Christianity. You need to understand this, because over here, they are fairly connect the Christianity with the Americans, not only the Western. Christians are all sponsored by the Americans, so their activities will be gone if we come together and fight against them. That's how they are raising their voice. And what it will do, ultimately creates violation, creates terrorist activity, creates anarchism, and ultimately defeats the democracy. So this is my observation. This is fairly connected. It will impact the countries like South Asia or Nepal, India, Bhutan, everywhere. This is all connected. That's my point.
Thank you, Dr. Khanal. What do you feel? Yeah.
I think I just want to emphasize that extremism is incredibly difficult when it's married to militarism. And if you arm an extremist, they become incredibly dangerous. That's stating the blindingly obvious, but I think that's been one of the biggest problems. And when there is extremism that is so visible and so palpable, so extreme, it's very difficult for other countries to be more neutral, more nuanced, more. And I think South Asia has had a reputation for diversity, for peaceful coexistence, for tolerance, for plurality, and there's a real danger, I think, in that being undermined by this visible extremism. And I think this is really a time for Christians to rise up, and to rise up even sounds too militaristic, to get more grounded maybe, and more embedded in their community, and doing acts of kindness, doing things that build for peace, being bridge builders. We need that so much. We need a mentality of engagement. It's very difficult in the face of extremism. Our natural instinct is to flee, to get away, to get out, to hide. But I think there's such a need for people to engage in their communities, to ensure that we are modeling diversity, we are accepting difference. Yeah, so I think I like the Allama Iqbal's analogy of Afghanistan as a heart, and what's pumping out at the moment, I don't think it's healthy, and it's going to have a very bad effect. I mean, we may have heart disease in Asia, but and we need to deal with that heart problem. Yeah, just a couple of thoughts.
Thank you so much, Phil, for the brief answer. Friends, because of the time constraint, we will come to the final one. Here to Dr. Khanal, and if Nadia, if may also put it, here regarding to the youth participation in any movement, not only in terrorism, not only in military, or not only in religious extremism, but in any movement comes into play, politically, socially, culturally, internally or externally. Youth are the spearheading in any movement. It could be a victim, it could be a proprietor. So in this regard, so youth has to play as a SACYN. We want to give it as a takeaway home. That, you know, as a SACYN, we want to give out a message from this table, that if it is in this context, the youth has to counteract this movement of extremism as well. So in the view of this, what is the role of youth in undoing this violence and conflicts in your perspective? First to Dr. Khanal, and if Nadia could also join in later.
Yeah, in just one line answer to that, as Christian, grace win the gun. We need to be so gracious with these movements, what we see here, and try to understand why they are doing this. And if we are in right understanding of these movements, then we have the solution already in our hand. So we need to understand why this happens. Particularly, if I remember my youth, when I was very much active in the political movements, I was just misguided, exploited, so to say. I was told that this education, the social system, and political systems are nothing for your future unless you fight against, unless you hold a gun and fight. That was the schooling. If I had understood rightly why they said so to me, then I would have been differently acting in that time and even now. So we need to go back and do right analysis, study analysis, and explanation. We need this among the youth. So my point is the education and politics in particular. We need to teach, train, and equip young people why such things are still going on around, why politics is being supported with the terrorist activity in the name of religion. If we are able to teach young people, then perhaps we will have a better future, peaceful future. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Khanal. If Nadia may put in, briefly. You're muted.
I want to end this debate on this note that youth is the future of every country and of our nation also. What we need to do, we need to promote education. We need to promote our culture. We have to give respect of every culture, every religion. Either we are Christian, Muslim, Hindu, Buddhist. We have to give them equal respect in every country. And youth is our future, and youth can play a vital role in this regard.
Thank you, Nadia, for your brief response to it. We have a few questions from our viewers and participants. First, I would like to put it into questions from Raj. I would like to give these questions to Dr. Khanal, if you may. So, what is the responsibility? What responsibility should the recently exited nations be pressed to fulfill? So, if Dr. Khanal can respond to it.
The question is that what is the response of the churches or Christians in
no, the previous one. The previous one. What responsibilities should the current should the recently exited nations be praised to fulfill?
This is here, right?
Question refers to the US and the other forces that have exited the country. The question is asking, what do you think they should be their responsibility towards Afghanistan because of whatever has happened since their exit?
For the minority, yes. This is not coming smoothly. The sound is interrupted. I'm not sure you are hearing me or not. Can you hear me?
You're audible, yes.
Okay. If I understood the question rightly, what would be the response of Taliban towards minority, right? And
Dr. Khanal, the question was what the responsibility of the recently exited nations, the US and the allied forces that has recently exited Afghanistan, right? So what is their responsibilities to fulfill for the restoration of Afghanistan?
Okay. I didn't get it. Thank you. Exited nations be praised to fulfill. Okay, I'm sorry. If I understood correctly, then I would say forgiveness and reconciliation. That is all they need to do. forget about the past, what they have invested, what they have lost. Now they need to come as a new, fresh relationship proposal, and through forgiveness and reconciliation approach, they could do much more, and they could rebuild and restore the damages in the past they have experienced.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Panel. I also have a question from Mohammed. I would like to direct this question to Nadia, if you may kindly answer. Can any one of the resource person, so I'm directing to Nadia, that until now, what is the Taliban response towards the minorities of Afghanistan?
Very balanced role. They are trying to make peace over there. They are trying to bring all the communities close. They are in the process to make it peace for the coming generations, for the youth, so they can get their education in a peaceful environment, in an ideal environment, keeping the culture and religious norms both balanced. Except this Panjshir issue, nothing bad has been done yet over there regarding to the sects or regarding to religious grounds over there.
Oh, thank you, Nadia. We have another question from Vikas. What roles the churches in South Asia can play for Afghanistan? I would like to open this question to Phil.
Can you repeat the question?
What roles the churches in South Asia can play for Afghanistan at the moment?
I've been thinking throughout, as I've heard, of the beginning of SACYN when we met in Sri Lanka. And at the time, there was a massing of military might on both sides of the Pakistan-India border. And there was a response among the youth in SACYN, and that ended in a peace gathering, a prayer meeting at the Wagah Atari border between Pakistan and India, where Christian youth from both sides, from the churches, representing churches, got together and prayed on each side of the border. And I think, I mean, I don't know what happened, but the conflict did not break out. Was that as a result of that prayer meeting? I like to think so, but I have no idea. But I wonder what we can do now as churches. I think pray is an absolute must, and it's a prayer with tears for what's going on. But I do wonder about whether the church in Pakistan at this moment could somehow gather near the Khyber Pass and pray, and peaceful demonstration, some symbolic act that says we are praying for this nation. I don't know whether you can, within SACYN or within churches, it's possible to gather people in that way. And I just wonder, you know, is there an opportunity? I think churches, I think I said earlier, I think what we must do is engage in our own community and promote peace and the welfare of the whole community, and not get drawn in to extremism. It's so easy to react in an extremist way when we're faced with extremism. We want to fight or flight, and I think we need to rather be engaging in our own communities and doing what we can.
Well, thank you so much, Phil, for the answer in regards to the questions which church plays a very important role, particularly the youth at the church needs to be forefront in undoing this conflict and violence in any parts of the world, particularly the South Asian. So, well, thank you so much. As we are coming to an end, I would like to once again thank our resource persons. In fact, Nadia had to leave because of her other appointment at the moment. So I'd like to extend our thanks and appreciation for your time and your contributions towards this much needed discussion as we experience directly, indirectly, actively, and passively. In fact, giving impact on our faith, in our culture, and our intact and our take on this issue of this Afghanistan. So on behalf of the SACYN South Asian Christian Youth Network, I would like to extend our sincere thanks and appreciation for your time and for your input, which we believe that this will be kind of a doorstep which we can move in to bring the negotiation not only in Afghanistan issue, but in regards to any religious intolerance and fundamentalism that we could see in across the South Asian countries, no matter which religious ideology, which faith we walked in, but we could see the mushrooming of different ideologies and extremism across South Asia. So thank you so much once again to all the resource persons and the panelists for your time and for your contribution. I would like to give time to our colleague, Bijoy, to conclude it for this. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining from so many different places. Really appreciate it. We face some network issues with some of our colleagues, so the brief may not have exactly been as expected, but thank you so much for patience. This is a time, like Gianna's already said, for peace and reconciliation, but also for all of us to look at our own prejudices and what we can do in terms of supporting the efforts that are happening both in our immediate society and for Afghanistan. Please keep them in your prayer. Phil Chacha has dropped a very nice prayer on chat. I suggest people copy it before the session ends. Once again, on behalf of SACYN, thanking you all. You can reach us at sacyncoordinator@gmail.com. A SACYN website is available, or you can just become a follower on the SACYN Facebook page. All of these are ways you can connect with us. Really appreciate all those people from very different countries who have logged in. For some people, it's already late in the night. For some people, it's very early in the morning. Thank you so much for taking out the time, both over here and the people who have logged in on Facebook to watch this. Thank you. God bless.